Alright, well, we open ace-8 suited here. Get a flat from HWF 81. I kind of feel like he should be shoving that, but whatever. Flop second pair, and we check it back. I think that's okay. If we bet it, it's going to be pretty hard to bet call. So there's not too much value I'm getting versus a 22 big blind flat from small blind. He could, you got to be a little bit worried about him flatting aces or kings since it's such a weird spot for him to flat out of position. And if he doesn't, then if he decided to flat some kind of Broadway, most Broadway hands like Queen Jack, Queen 10, or Jack 10 have some kind of straight draw and overs that might just decide to check raise, get it in, or do something on this flop. So it's probably okay to be just checking it back here and see what he does on the turn and make decisions from there. Turns a king. He bets 280. I guess I decided to look him up here, and I'm putting him on, I'm putting him on mostly like the king. I guess I assumed that most of the kings that he could have would be shoving pre. I incorrectly maybe assumed that. Like king queen here, I probably thought he would just shove it pre with that stack size, or ace king of course, and maybe king jack suited. So I guess when he bet here on the turn, I put him on the range of hands like jack 10, queen 10, queen jack, possibly some kind of like suited ace with a straight draw, or like ace 5, whatever. Because I put him on that because he had been flatting wider than normal, and I guess I just assumed that his stronger range again would be getting it in pre-flop. So we call, and I look box an ace on the river, and he checks. I overshove, just try and it's a little bit more than pot, but I just try and make it look like I'm floating him on the on the turn with whatever, and now I'm just trying to bluff at it and get him off the hand since he shouldn't have too many aces in his hand. Whatever it is, I just feel like a shove is much better. I think it'll get called just as much. I mean, not just as much, but enough to make it much more profitable than betting like 750 or whatever here. And he does call, and we get a little lucky there. But I think, I think either way, if I was really confident that he would get a stronger range in, then it's okay to look him up on the turn there if you're really confident that his range is, the lighter side. And he does seem to be the type of player that would, if he flatted the queen 10 or queen jack there, or the jack 10, if he's flatting queen king suited there, I'm sure he's flatting others there too. Would probably make that same bet there. King 8 suited, we just fold it to pinch. And I think, I keep looking at these 17-12 stats, which are really tight, 3.9 for 6 max, but I think that's inaccurate to how he's playing currently. Okay, get a blind versus blind fight, nothing too much, just a bet and a fold, 2-3 offsuit, everyone folds. We do have fell 7-7 at the table, which is someone I've never seen before. Play through this hand, and we're going to wrap it up for this part, as I see that we're getting a little bit into it here. So we got a 3x from pinch. Oh wait, that was not a 3x, I'm sorry. That was a less than 2.5x. King queen calls him. He bets 200. C-bet gets called. He's betting. It's a good flop for him. He's not. I mean, he could get called by worse, which he obviously has. But king queen, on the other hand, is calling partly, mostly because they feel like they have the best hand against the button range on this type of flop. It's just so dry. It's hard for them to have an ace, and they're opening the button, so they should have a ton of worse hands than king queen, presumably. And we'll see what happens if he decides to turn into a bluff or just checks it down. Pinch does decide to check back the turn, which I think is okay. King queen checks it again, and I think it's much better to be betting here after checking the flop. Once you actually get there with the king on the river, maybe he feels like he can never have a bluff, but he should have some bluffs. Flush draws missed. He could have, just complete air that